Good evening, everyone, and welcome tuning in to the hashtag Stories of Healing podcast, episode 4. The focus of the podcast is to share a story and dive into the healing process within that challenging time in life. The story can be about pain, struggle, anxiety, depression, heartbreak, loss of employment, trauma, or any specific challenge that brought a tough experience to overcome. Stories of Healing is here to inspire, motivate, help others lift and rise up through their past or present struggles by listening in and connecting with the special guest who tunes in to sharing their story of healing and how they overcame their battle. What was their healing process? That being said, good evening and welcome, everyone. Today's special guest is singer-songwriter from Brampton, Ontario, who recently released her debut EP, The Way, on October 2nd, Shawna Cain. Shawna writes original music that is infused with R&B, trap, jazz, hip-hop, and reggae styles with a message from above. Her music is based on her personal walk within her faith, interactions with people, lessons, and experiences throughout her journey in life. Shawna Cain is driven by truth, and her main focus is to promote the call of action to renew the mind. Her main objective is to promote living and purpose and help people gain strength to overcome challenges. She does this by creating music that reveals a source which will aid in refining the mental perspective. Amazing. Welcome, Shawna. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me, Jacob. This is a great opportunity. I'm so glad to be here and just to share with you and be a part of this amazing movement, Stories of Healing. It can't get any better than this.
Thank you for those words. Honestly, I'm grateful and I'm super excited to have you on our show tonight. You can tell, obviously, I was a little bit nervous. In the intro, I was so hyped, but you know what? It's all good. Like I said, I'm very happy to have you on tonight. Thank you for taking the time to share your story of healing. This is super exciting, and so let's dive in. What is your story of which brought you a life challenge or a struggle?
Yes, so my story is a story of acceptance and overcoming and realization. Because I say that because my story goes through different stages. I lived between two different homes, just my parents split up when I was young. And just being able to like navigate through that and going through years in high school and college, getting involved in a lot of things that were self destructive. So I had to become self aware of who I truly was. And my story basically encompasses that understanding who you are and really seeing yourself for who you truly are.
Wow, amazing. That's a really good story to start off with. Like I'm already ready to dive in. Like, were in feelings or emotions like going into the what you were going through?
Mhm. Yeah, you know what? Through my story, I'll just give a little background.
Mm-hmm.
I After starting college, I started to drink heavily and smoke heavily. I was smoking every day and drinking every day, and this kind of came after kind of feeling empty, feeling lost. And I feel like for a lot of my childhood, I hid myself. I kind of created two different identities of myself, which is crazy. And I began to not really want to understand why I had certain pain, why I had certain feelings, but I would always try to mask them. I would always try to mask my feelings and be like, I don't have to cry. I don't have to do anything. I could just let's just go on to the next thing. Let's just be happy. Let's just kind of ignore those feelings. And going into college, I started to drink heavily and smoke heavily. And I believe the reason why I really hung on to those things were because it allowed me to escape reality for that moment. I felt like I didn't have to deal with my own thoughts and feelings. So I clinged onto drinking and smoking as a way to feel comfortable. I didn't even have to get to know myself. So those feelings I had were feelings like there was a void. I felt like there was a void inside, and I always had to do something to fill it. And I believe that void was there as well because I never
Mm.
addressed it. I never addressed any issues that I had. I never addressed what was going on inside of me. And I just continued to cover those things up. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's tough, like, especially when we're growing up and we're still about ourselves, and no matter what our environment can be, whether it's good or bad, whether it's in school, around the wrong crowd of friends, it could be family. Um, when those challenges and those negative, I guess you could say, factors in the environment try to take us down, we sometimes, I find, as humans, do resort to the easy route, and sometimes that easy route is relying on alcohol, drugs,
Mhm.
and it's tough. It's a lot of people I find in this world face that battle, and you
Yes.
can see it every day. I see it every day. When I'm going into work and I'm commuting through the city. It's sad, and these people need help. Like, we all need help in a lot of ways, and especially, like, I find education too. Like, if there's more education and more support and positive enforcement on, like, getting people actually, like, away from those situations, it really help people focus on what's good and focus on those good things and how to channel maybe our pains and those struggles in the right way,
Mhm.
through music or through fitness or
Yes.
something that we're, like,
Yeah.
really meant to do.
Yes. That's very
Thank you
true.
for sharing that.
Yes.
Um, what did you do to keep yourself healthy?
Yeah, to keep myself healthy, during my, kind of downward spiral, because I would call it that, um, I would think that I was healthy because I was getting through college. As long as I graduate, it's good enough. Like, if I can just make it through
Mm,
school, that is my gauge of I am okay. If I can drink as much as I
nice.
want, I could smoke as much as I want, but I just got to graduate. And that was kind of my gauge on how healthy I was. And I really believe that, my parents, even though they were split, they did everything they could to, make sure that I was okay. I spent time with my dad and my mom, but it was about my mind. It was about the way I was thinking about things and the unhealthy patterns that I continued, and getting involved with people, and relationships and stuff that I allowed to basically even try to tell me who I was and not allow me to grow in the right way. So to keep myself healthy, I just basically gauged it on, if I graduate, I'll be
Mm,
good. And you know now I've transitioned from that, and I've learned that I have to change the way that I think. I have to change the way that I think about everything and alter it so that I'm thinking about things in a healthy way. I'm thinking about things in a conducive way. And it's still a journey right now, it's still a process. I've learned that I have to change the way that I think in
mm,
every aspect. And I've learned that my thoughts are not, they don't have to control me, they don't have to weigh me down, but I can learn how to navigate them. And I've read a lot now, and I've come to the understanding that you don't have to stay in that same place. And also, drinking and smoking is physically not good for your body as well. So that's another thing.
for sure. Thank you for sharing that, and that's a heavy situation, and I find, I've had, my own experiences too, where, you're with the wrong friends, you're with the wrong crowd, and you know I just remember, like, a part of me wanted to get out. A part of me, you want to, like, deep down inside, it's almost like you know that there's something better out there, that there's healing out there, and there's actually a better channel of activities and a way of life to harness what we're going through and put it towards something positive. And I find that sometimes those temptations and those negative surroundings, they do weigh us down. They weigh us down, and it gives us almost discouragement and want to actually listen to our own heart
Yeah.
and listen to our own mind. You know, there's this barrier. But I find that if you can really dive deep into like an understanding of where you're at, and look into the near future,
Yeah.
and be like, and just ask yourself a question like, is this what I want to be in the next 5 years? You know, like, do I want to be this person in the next 5 years? Like, yeah, this may help me short term, but like down the road, like, like you said, physically, like our health will go, down. Mentally, our health is already going down, and that does affect our spiritual and mental health as well.
Yeah.
Um, um, you mentioned that you started like diving into some reading, and finding like, a little bit better outlets to kind of get your mind focused on a different path.
Yes.
Um, how did you avoid, besides reading and getting into that outlet, how did you avoid or embrace your current surroundings during that time, those negative surroundings, in a positive way? Was there
Mhm.
other people you reached out to? Was there anyone in your family? Was there that reached out to you? Was there like a calling, like a feeling that you're like, I'm taking this?
Yeah, for me, like it was a lot of those factors. Even getting through college, I had two amazing friends, Sam and Anansa, and I had to
Nice.
just
Shout out to Sam and Anatsa. You guys are beauties.
I just have to call them
Let's
out, man. I don't
go.
even know, but
Yo,
it
it's
just
all
happened,
good.
like. But
Love out to
you know
them.
what? They really um helped me and really saw the potential in me before I saw it in myself. They I believe they even saw me to who I am now. Like they knew that, okay, you know what, Shawna is gonna be on this path, and she's someone more than she even thinks she is. And I didn't I saw myself like a little bit like there's a little bit of potential there. But I
Mm,
wasn't looking at myself in that way. And they really helped me, like, Shawna, like, we're gonna get through this, we're gonna graduate, we're gonna, you know, we're gonna get through it. And my dad always encouraged me. You know, he studies the Bible,
mm,
and he always told me these words, and these words truly become life when you listen to them and when you receive them. So I
mm,
was able to receive those words and live those words, and actually have those words impact me, and that's what I stand on now. And those words have changed everything about me. It's changed the trajectory the trajectory of my life. They've changed everything. And just being able to be around people that speak life into you, that has really helped me. And before, it's just a matter of how you think and what you're allowing yourself to be involved with. Because before, in order to fill that void, I would just go to the bar, do this, hit up someone like, yo, let's go smoke, let's go do this, let's go party. Every single minute you just have to fill that void. And I think that's something that we can analyze in ourselves. Like, am I just trying to fill a void right now, or am I
mm-hmm,
actually developing in this moment? That's why when I'm reading and when I'm watching YouTube videos and things like this podcast, you're receiving it. It's something that you're receiving. So that's another thing that we can be cautious of too. Am I right now, am I just, pouring out, or am I receiving? In the way of, am I
mm.
just letting things just, be exposed in me, and am I just not really receiving anything that's of depth? You can analyze that and say, what am I doing right now? Is this going to help me in my future? Is this speaking life into me, or is this speaking something else over me? If that makes sense.
Wow, no, I love the insight that you have with not only the experience, but what you can share to like the young people out there, our young people out there, or even adults who are currently struggling in this, and right now in our world it is a tough time, and there's a lot of I guess you can say forces to be it feels like we're like a lot of us are alone, I find sometimes.
Yeah.
And when people feel alone, they tend to, I find, to dive into something like substance abuse.
Yes.
And it's tough because once you get caught up in that trap, and but what's best for you, you like still like fall into this like cycle,
Yeah.
and this cycle will continue to grow and grow and grow. And it really just takes like that moment and clarity, and just like ask yourself, like you said, and this like kind of look into like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a void that I'm filling right now. Like, is this working for
Mm,
me? Another thing I wanted to jump on is like, besides substance abuse and like going out and I find sometimes even like hanging out with the wrong people, but even if you're not doing substance abuse, but even people that let's say are negative, and
yes.
you're hanging out with friends or something that are like, they're maybe their egos are too hard and too big and they like really like push down on you and they're prideful, or like maybe yeah, just like very like high negative energy. I find sometimes, um, as much as you love those like friends in your life, but like that moment, those time that you're spending with is almost another void. I find it's like another way, it's another void.
Mm,
Whereas when we are going through our own thing, like we need people that are positive. We need people that have that are balanced and that like actually like love us for who we are, and not trying to like make us feel like we have to be them or make us feel like we have to be somebody else that we're not,
yeah.
or are part of this world, you know. And so I find sometimes even besides the substance abuse and stuff, or even like you know hobbies that aren't healthy, like just like bad hobbies, negative hobbies and activities,
Yes.
like that can affect us as well, that fill voids, like sitting on the
Yeah.
TV all day, just mindless, endless
Mm,
energy that's going into what? Like,
yes.
look at the mainstream news today. I'm not gonna say anything because but we all know what's happening. We all know what's going on, and
Yes.
that's another void. You know what I mean? Like, so
Mm,
I
that's true.
find,
I love that you brought that up. Yeah.
yeah, like I find that if we really, like you said, like just like focus in that moment and take a second to step back and just be like, okay, like, is this really filling that joy and that love and that peace and like that healing for me? Like, am I actually, is this making use for my time?
Yeah.
Like, like what I'm going to
Yeah.
be in the next little bit, next few years.
Yeah.
Um, Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you like sharing this story too. And it's, sharing a little bit of that vulnerability of what you went through. You know, I find a lot of people that could be tuning in and may have still haven't let go of those type of voids, and they still
Yeah.
resort to those voids. I find right now because and when you're talking about smoking, like, you look at certain substances that have been legalized in Canada, and I find a lot of people now are probably like, you see a lot of people resorting to that and filling those voids, but there's other ways to stay healthy. There's other ways to fix our mind, to
Yeah.
fix our mental health. I shouldn't even
Yeah.
say fix, just heal, like complete balance. And
Yes.
so yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. That's amazing. I respect that very much so. And I want to kind of dive into what was the hardest thing to let go of to help push yourself forward when you realized, okay, like I'm done, like maybe whether it's hanging out with those friends, or it's you're done doing the certain your own like habits, those habits with substance abuse.
Yeah.
um what was the hardest thing to let go of, and you're like, you know what, I have to let this go. Like, you sat on that for a while, and but you're like, if I don't do this, like, how am I going to push forward?
Yeah. That's an amazing question. But I would say the hardest thing that I had to let go of was the view that I had of myself and basically the mindset. It was a hard thing to let go of,
Mm,
because you begin to be so comfortable in who you created yourself to be. We have all these different little parts about us, our personality, different aspects about us that you know we accept as this is just how I am. And there's a reality that can show us that, hey, there's so much more that I want to show you about yourself. And it was also really hard for me to stop smoking. I was really, really dependent on smoking weed.
mm.
And I was so dependent on it. I thought I was gonna be one of those grandmas that's smoking like forever. I'm like, I'm never gonna stop. So
Just
for
get
me,
out of bed and it's like sitting in your like your slippers.
I thought that was gonna be me. So I'm like,
Oh no.
I don't understand this. But you know what? That process was something amazing because it actually shows you like how your body is dependent on these things and how it doesn't want to let go. You can get so used to these things, and I thought that smoking helped me be less anxious, but I realized that it actually increased my anxiety a
Mm,
1000%, and it made me more sad. It allowed depressive thoughts to come into my mind. It allowed me to be not confident in who I was. And those are just those things that a lot of us don't talk about. A lot of people don't talk about it. You know, when you smoke weed, it's more like, yeah, man, like it's this thing. Like it helps me relax, it helps me calm down, and all those things, yes. But also, it also is, I want to say, not a good thing to not be aware of what's happening. It
mm,
kind of it kind of unlocks your security wall. You're supposed to
mm.
be having a security wall with you, you know, and when you smoke, it kind of opens you up to certain things. And it opens up that security wall. It says, okay, you know what, I might do this because I'm more relaxed, I'm more chill. But should we really be okay with that? You know, should we should be more cautious of that. And that was
Mhm.
something really hard to let go of because I was dependent on it. It was my friend. You know, I could always
Mm.
rely on it to
Wow.
you know, make me forget about it, all the other issues. But then I had to do it again the next day because the issues came back.
Wow. You know what? That's incredible to let go of a mindset to push forward. And I think that's a very powerful statement or a powerful message to share to people out there listening or tuning in, especially young ones today. Like I look at the younger
Yeah.
generation today and they have so much, like even like yourself and myself, like we still had access to things pretty easy, but now you look at the younger generation and it's like they have access to a lot of things and a lot of channels that could be negative and harmful to their life. And I like what you said, you know, like it's letting go of that mindset and like maybe putting also like your mindset into something more positive and better. uh Also, I've also wanted to touch base, you know, you mentioned that smoking, especially like, you know, marijuana or anything too, like cigarettes is bad as well, you know. And but how it like is like almost like it's like a short term, in a sense, short term fix, but that long term negative fix is the that openness. You said you're letting all these different things in. Yeah, I find we're letting in emotions or amplifying some of our own negative emotions that get
Yeah.
the best of us. Some of those things
Yeah.
come out in a certain way long term, like it amplifies your anxiety, it amplifies our depression, you know.
Wow.
I know that from firsthand too. Like I've experienced that before with anxiety too, and depression. And yeah, it definitely amplifies that long term.
Yeah.
And so thank you for sharing that. That's I think being mindful in anything that we do in life.
Yeah.
And whether it's negative or positive, we should always take a step back and think and be like, okay, this is awesome. Maybe now, maybe not, but is this going to help me, you know, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is this good for me right now for tonight? Is
Mhm.
this good for me tomorrow? Is this good for me next
Yeah.
year? You know,
Yeah.
because we, at the end of the day, we don't really care what other people think. We don't want to care what other people think, you know, but we do want to care about how we feel in the long term,
Yeah.
how we're feeling spiritually, you know, mentally, physically,
Yeah.
emotionally. I always like touching base on those four parts of health, you know, those four elements of health, because you know, I find when we get tossed into something in life, we're always getting one of those elements of health in our life affected, challenged,
That's
you
true.
know. And I find that if we, like you said, like if you really focus on um you can even say like reorganizing the mindset a little bit, you
Yeah.
know, having a little bit of awakening, like change, just adapting a little bit, be like, whoa, I want to be more healthy. I'm just gonna like start focusing on this. Start eliminating those little things like this, whether it's the habits, whether it's the wrong crowd of people. Maybe maybe it isn't habits of people. Maybe it's just like even thinking thoughts, like you know, negative patterns of thoughts that
Yeah.
create negative emotions, you know, and which also will create bad decisions. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that what you said is a powerful message. And Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes, no worries.
Um, let's go here. So, just trying to think here. That was
Mhm.
really good.
I also
Um,
had as well.
yeah, do it while I'm thinking.
Like, and just one thing that came up, like everything that I've been through,
Mm,
um, I know that it happened in order for me to be able to share these experiences and for other
mm,
people to be able to, you know, hear that you're not alone. And there's a girl named Shawna who experienced something like you. There's a guy
right.
named Jacob who experienced something
Mm,
like you know, and that's
true.
why this podcast is so amazing to me and so important, because even though we're going through something, that thing that we're going through is still working for our future. It's still doing
Mm,
something for our future,
right.
because now I can talk to other young women, other young girls, and tell them my story, and I'll be able to have a real conversation with them. Not to say that you have to have a struggle, you have to have a battle in order to be, valid, and but it's just my story. It's just the way that my you know life had planned out, and this is also working for um my good. It's working for furthering the understanding, the healing process for other people. So even when we're
Mm,
going through hard times, remember that this is going to be a story later on.
mm-hmm.
This is going to be a testimony. This is going to
Yeah,
be something I get to share later. So let me just sit on that for a moment. It's hard,
yeah.
but when we think about those things, it can help us. Sometimes we just need to go to bed. Sometimes you just need to go to sleep. you know but yeah.
You have a lot of inspiration, and I feel inspired right now with those words. And you touched base on a really cool perspective that you're right. There's someone out there named Shauna. There's someone out there named Jacob, equally human. And, we all go through our different battles and challenges, but we all feel our emotions. We all feel, pain in the environment in a very similar way, and how, as humans, how do we absorb those situations and reflect and take it in, and then learn how to let that go,
Mm,
and in the right channel, in the
yeah,
right outsource,
yeah,
in the right production, and I find that if we have more, like, if we have amazing people in this world that want to inspire the young generation or the older generation, and things like what we're doing right now on Stories of Healing, and what you're doing with your music and what you're doing with your faith, and I think that's incredible. And we need the world to shift this way. And I feel like, almost like, I listen to amazing people around the world sometimes say similar things, and it's like not a broken record, but it's like these messages, and this inspiration of hope, and trying to be a voice in other people's lives through things we're
yeah,
going through currently. You're right, it's going to build a story and a legacy, but I feel like we need to create this movement. It needs to happen. It needs to happen
yeah,
faster.
yeah.
Like, I feel like the shift needs to continue growing, and it's going to grow, but it
Yeah.
needs to happen much faster.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I feel the fire right now. This is awesome. This is really cool. Um so how did you overcome this challenge or struggle? Besides diving into what you knew to let go of the mindset, like, what was, like, a really, like, a few things that you did to really overcome and let go?
Man, this is my favorite question.
Oh yeah, I can't
Because
wait. All
it's so good, but to
right.
overcome everything, for me, I, I had an encounter. I had a spiritual
Mm,
encounter with someone that I call my heavenly father.
mm,
And I was told things about myself that I didn't even know about myself.
mm,
And that really just made me realize that for me, that I have a heavenly father who actually cares about me and knows me. so well that he wants me to not do things that are self-destructive. And I
Mm.
was faced with a choice. I was faced with literally life or death in terms of right now. And, just in a way where it was so strong. I had a strong encounter. I basically had an encounter where it was a choice. Like you can go this way or you can go that way. And it was such a strong feeling that I felt like I had to make a decision to just let go and just trust. Just trust. And there's a video on my Instagram page at I am Shawna Cain, and it's literally the video of the next day after my encounter, and it was a video of me throwing out all my weed.
Mm.
And that was literally a moment of faith where I just had to be like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm probably gonna try to go find this later on today, but I have to throw it out right now. Like it's like I have to throw
Mhm.
it out right now. This is what I can say. What also helped me overcome was making a drastic, crazy decision, a decision that didn't really make no sense. Sometimes, in order to overcome, you have to do things that don't make sense to you. We can't
Mm.
always intellectually try to compute things.
Right.
That I mean that day told me throw all the drugs, throw everything. And that wouldn't make no sense. Like you slowly get off of those things. But
Mm.
in that moment it said stop right now, and I had to do that. And sometimes we have to do drastic things. Obviously you have to do things in a way where you're not going to hurt yourself. There's certain people who are, there's heavy drugs, and anyways. But
Mm.
you just have to sometimes believe in yourself and believe in what you're aiming for. And to overcome, basically it was a process, and it was basically, yeah, just changing the mind and putting good things in my mind. That's what I can say. Putting things in my mind that were fruitful, that were of good thoughts. And basically, like, I don't know if you probably watched that show, Timmy Turner, got fairy godparents.
No.
No.
I honestly don't I haven't watched TV in so long.
When you're
I've
a
been
kid,
tapped out. No, as a
you
kid, like I can't even think back what I was looking at as a kid. Like I feel like cuz I'm so blessed to have an amazing mother who's just like go
oh
outside, go
yeah, okay, yeah,
skateboarding, go meet some friends.
yeah, like
Dinner's
go on
at
the beach.
dinner's going to be done at this time.
Nice.
And she's a huge inspiration of just being outside and being connected
Yeah.
to the land and like just like adventuring and
Wow.
you know as I got older, when we heard about like Netflix and all that, of course we kind of
Yeah,
dove in,
like,
and once in a while it's nice to kind
yeah,
of watch some cool documentaries and
yeah,
check out some stuff. But yeah, I just find like anyways, I'm just
yeah.
going
Okay.
off, but
The reason
yeah.
why I said that was because there's
Yeah.
like this scene where like it's a cartoon, right? So his like
Okay.
head opens up, and then like
Right.
there's books going into his head, like he's
Oh
learning.
wow. Oh
So
wow.
it's kind of like that. It's like just envision like, okay, I
Mm.
had this old way of thinking. Now I'm gonna open up my mind and I'm gonna just dump new things in there. Cause what I've
Oh,
been
okay.
doing for the last 20 something years, that gotta go.
Yeah, it's gotta
It's like,
leave.
yeah. Hopefully
That's
that.
amazing. I love that you're, like, our Father up above, He loves you and He motivated you to do what you needed to do to make those decisions. And you also did a cool shout out to two of your friends who were helping you out there during that time as well. To focus on school and motivate you. Was there anyone else in your life that you can like just like shout out to, or maybe someone in your family who really motivated you and stuck by you during all those battles and troubles and really try to like still guide you down the right way? Or was it more like a self guidance with help from above?
Yeah. My mom and my dad, definitely. My dad um always, always just kept saying truth. He always just kept saying the same thing, like, that you know where you're supposed to be, how to keep pushing forward. A lot of things, I go to him, I ask him for advice, we talk. And um you know also just people that I leaned on other leaders in like church that I went to, and the pastors and just people there that were strong, and even other young adults who,
Mm.
we have fun, we laugh, but when it comes to, talking that talk, they're serious.
Oh yeah.
They know what they're talking about. And yeah, just a lot of people in my life. I for me, a lot of people in my family, like, it's not like everybody knew what I was going through. It was kind of like I was I was doing my thing on the side. So like I was like still functioning, looking like everything's fine. But I knew, and eventually when it became so bad, like I could see it in my body, like I looked different because of all the abuse.
Mm.
Um alcohol abuse and stuff like that. But yeah, just family and friends. And I think that's important, to stay around people. Stay around people. Don't isolate yourself in a way where you're always doing that, because when you're isolated too, you can have a lot of thoughts that are not
Mm.
good, that are not healthy as well. So it's good to be by yourself as well, but also put yourself around
Mm.
good people, you know.
Yes, good people that love you and care
Yeah,
about you
that
and care about
love
your
you.
like
Yeah.
future, and your current state.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing? Like you mentioned that you were like talking to some youth who
Yeah.
it was a good talk. I find with
Yes.
youth there are especially like our young people out there, and they are educated and very spiritual, and they have they're ready to learn, they're ready to absorb the world and information. So
Yeah.
sometimes we learn from young people, you know sometimes
Yeah.
we learn from people in younger generations who may be um in a position where we look back like, man, I could have done that way differently a little bit, but I'm learning now as an adult, and I'm like I'm getting wisdom from someone younger than me that's going, it's really cool how we can do that, not sometimes just looking up to our elderly and our elders and our, and our parents and our grandparents and see all the wisdom experience they went through. But sometimes there actually is a lot of young people out there who are so resilient and amazing, and focus on positive and good things, and they just found a way to keep that mindset balanced and
Yes.
keep that mindset healthy, and no matter what gets thrown, you know uh in school, whether it's bullying or those negative environments that might hit young people at a young age, um when just and keep that, and they like, they're like, I'm just gonna do what's best for me. it's
Yeah.
it's it's amazing how we can learn from young people.
I
Well,
agree.
shout out to your family and your parents. That's awesome. That's incredible. And I think that especially people listening and tuning in, sometimes we do need to be alone to reflect on what we're going through. But when
Mhm.
we do listen and take time to feel that love and support from our parents, even if we don't want it, sometimes I know for one, like growing up, I find we all get stubborn in our own ways when it comes to with our family, because they know it's the best, and it hits us in the heart. But at the end of the day, like, these people are the ones who raised you, these people are the ones who loved you,
Yeah.
cared for you, and they're there to stand by you for a reason. Like,
Exactly.
you're their blood. So that's amazing. um
Mm.
so this is really like leading up to a final incredible question I can't wait to ask. But
Mm.
after everything you've went through, all those challenges that you faced, and the environment that you were faced with, and you still found ways for healing, you still found ways that motivated you, you still found the people, God, to help you, protect you, guide you down the right path. you know um would you do anything differently to overcome what you went? Anything, something small, minor, something that you were like, oh, you know what, I would have done that differently.
Mm. Really and truly, I wouldn't have done anything differently, except, come to my senses earlier. But
Mm.
I
Yo,
know
that's so
that,
good. That's good.
but that's the only thing I could say. Like, I wish it was earlier, but I know I appreciate the timing,
Mm.
because the timing is everything. Because there's
Yes.
people that I may have not met, if I did, start living a different way sooner or anything like that, those people I may have not met. So I I appreciate the timing and I value the timing, because that's another thing. As humans, a lot of the times we think we know what's right. We think that we know everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's
in
true.
in reality, um we are not in as much control as we think we are.
Mm.
And we don't know all the time what we don't know what's best. We're basically guessing based on what our parents tell you, what you see on TV, and everything else. We're just guessing. And yeah, I think that everything has a certain moment, a certain purpose, a certain timing. So I appreciate every step and the way that it went, because it's a continuous journey, and yeah, that's it. That's what I can say.
Thank you. Your story is full of resilience. I love that you leaned on your spiritual faith. I love that you let that guide your way. I love that you let those good friends in, and the family guide you and motivate you, inspire you to focus on those, the things to let go of, and the things,
Yeah.
and it all comes down to all that motivation from all different angles. And you just like took you had a moment of no fear, and you're like, I'm gonna, like you said, you're gonna change the mindset, let go of that mindset. And it really comes down to that mindset. It isn't amazing. I find that we hear mindset a lot now in the world. It's like
Yeah.
it's like really important word, mindset. And I find like it's true though. It's all up here. And if we can really uh harness a positive barrier of just like really good energy always constantly flowing, so when things in our life hit us, whether it's physical,
Yeah.
emotional, or in an environment, if you keep that mindset, and you always take a second to be like, you know what,
Yeah.
I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to
Yes.
continue staying positive in this mindset. My purpose is to continue focusing on the goals that I want to accomplish, to do good in this world, for my
Yeah.
friends, for my family, for myself, because the mindset's going to lead the way, for those things to happen. And
Slay.
I just, yeah, like I just so happy to have you on our show tonight. For the ones listening out there, this is an amazing episode. Uh, for the young ones and the adults, old ones out there, if you got Instagram, please go to Instagram, and you are going to search for I am Shawna Cain. It's all one word. Yeah, let's see if I could get it here. Wait. Oh, it's two. There you go. Follow at I am Shawna Cain on Instagram. Honestly, I dove into your EP. She just released an EP. I believe it's like on all music streaming platforms,
Yes.
correct? Yeah.
Yes.
You can get it at DistroKid. Just follow her. Check the link in
Yeah.
her bio. She's got all the links to guide you down the right way to get this music. But
Yeah.
yeah, just a shout out to the song "None Like You." That song's amazing. I love it. It's got that
Wow.
trap, hip hop, jazz, the message, everything. Your voice. Um, yeah, I think everything happens for a reason, and this episode was meant to be, because I find that, especially that you're a musician, and how to now release what you've went through, and where you are, and where you want to go, and how you want to inspire the world with your message through your faith, with
Yeah.
that mindset. This is all just like these ingredients and these like
Yes.
amazing, it's amazing medicine just for healing and like motivation, inspiration, like
Yes.
just to wake up the nation, you know what I mean? Like I
Woo!
feel like that's yeah, so people need to listen to your music. I'm an artist as well, and I'm telling everyone out there, just go listen to this music, please. You're doing yourself a favor. um Also, if you have Facebook as well, which most of us do, she does also have, Shawna here has a artist page as well. You can follow her and like her at Shawna Cain.
Thank you.
And yeah, so one more question just to finalize before we do this outro. I just wanted to ask, for young people out there listening in, or older people, older generation, anybody out here listening in, tuning in, or who will see our recap video. um, what is something that you would love to share or tell them as inspiration? Aside from this story that you shared today and this amazing resilience and your outlook on life, like it's incredible. Um, is there anything, some last words that you would like to say to anybody that's tuning in, to maybe motivate them to
Yes.
help them get through maybe what they're going through right now?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. I would just say to anybody, to the young ones out there, to that person who is watching and looking for that moment of something to be glad about, I would just say that you are not a mistake. You are
Mm,
not put on this earth as a mistake. Nothing about you is by accident. Nothing about you is by accident. And I just want to say something that I've heard Dr. Miles Monroe speak about and just explain is that an apple, it has seeds, and the seed has the potential to become a tree. The seed has a tree inside
mm,
of it, but it's just trapped inside. But that
wow.
the value of that seed is so important. So even if you feel as small as a seed right now, just know that you have the potential to become a tree, and that's what you're here for. So don't, you know what, take the time out, discover yourself, and know that you're loved for real. You are loved, and there's so much value in your life that don't bring it to a minuscule version. There's so much value in you, and it's okay. Take the time to learn who you are, and it's a process. Take a rest.
Mm,
Take a rest. That's what I want to say. And yeah, I just want to say as well, with me going through, all these thoughts and these and drinking habits and smoking, if I didn't go through that process and be delivered out of that, I would not be writing music today. I started writing music after coming out of that, and after having that motivation and that drive to say, okay, if I'm not meant to smoke and drink and just party, what am I meant to do? And that might not be your story, but there is a reason why you're here, and there's a problem that you need to solve on this earth, and that's why you're here. So there's something that you're designed to create, you're designed to do, even if that purpose is to be someone's mother, to be a love in that person's life, or you know through your job and through your family, anything. There's so much worth, um so much value in you, and discover yourself. Take the time, and that's it. You're loved. You're loved.
wow. Thank you so much. That is all from your heart. I can feel
Yeah.
it. I know the ones tuning in can hear that. That is amazing, powerful words. And you're an absolute blessing and gift to be here to share this to everyone out here listening in. And honestly, I feel inspired. Every time I
Amen.
listen to people tuning in and sharing their story, like I get more and more inspired. And I
Mhm.
think I just hit that like hype level right now. Like I just want to go
Thank
out
you.
and start inspiring the world. I'm gonna go to sleep tonight and feel that rest, and I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna go to work tomorrow and I'm gonna do good for my community. And
Yes.
and I'm gonna like reflect and of everything that you just said. Like it's so true. Like it's a process, but know how
Process.
much value that we have inside our hearts, inside of
Yes.
those positive energy and those everything that's inside of us. That really cool a perspective that you shared. What was it the name you shouted out to?
Dr. Miles Monroe.
Yeah, shout out to Dr.
Yes.
Miles Monroe,
Yes.
because
And
that
he
is
has a lot of resources. Sorry, on YouTube and stuff. So check it out. Books.
cool. Yeah, I really like that. It makes sense. Like a seed, there's a tree in every seed, and it's that's super powerful.
Yeah.
Um, I
Crazy.
could say that word a million times, but um,
Amazing.
thank you, Shawna. Thank you, Shawna Cain. Please, everyone, like I said, go to Instagram, follow I am Shawna Cain, Facebook, artist page, Shawna Cain. Her music is amazing. She's an amazing person from the heart, from the soul, and I find that I just know that you're going to continue doing amazing things with your music for your fans, for your supporters. And I'm super grateful to be able to listen tonight and hear your story. And I really look forward to listening to more releases of music. I listen forward to potential collaborations.
Yes.
But let's stay in touch. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shawna. That being said,
Thank you, Jacob.
thank you. You're an inspiration, and the only way that the stories of healing of this podcast is going to grow is amazing people like yourself who want to come on and share vulnerability a bit and inspire and motivate others to connect with something that you or others went through. And I find that doing that together, we're going to bring healing, we're going to connect, we're going to strengthen, we're going to learn from different experiences and challenges. And it just gives us a new outlook and a new perspective from listening in and tuning into somebody else's story and be like, wow, like I'm actually going to be okay. I actually have a future. Like I'm going to be okay. I'm feeling healing already by listening in. I know what little steps I can take tonight, tomorrow.
Wow.
And I think a lot of people listening in not only will learn a lot from what you said, but also will feel that message from the heart. And everyone tuning in, remember, we do our hashtag Stories of Healing podcast weekly, Facebook live stream. Tune in. There'll be new people coming on, and we'll be continually putting it out there and trying to make a movement and trying to change our world. Day by day, week by week. And we're going to do our best through bad internet connection, through good internet connection. We're going to get through it. And, because at the end of the day, we're patient. We know what we need to do. We need to spread this message. You're an amazing soul. You're an amazing person. Tomorrow, I'm going to be sharing the recap YouTube video. So people tune in to the T-May Music YouTube channel. Shawna Cain, do you have YouTube?
Yes.
People, please YouTube Shawna Cain. Get on the YouTube. There's also the music video of None Like You too. Yes. Very awesome video. Like this, like I saw the views. You got views bumping. Like there's movement happening. Yes. Not just through the message and not through just the music, but just the person that you are. You are the movement. This is a movement. I'm so happy. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Shawna. And everyone, have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Good night, everyone.